All right. Good morning. So here's what we have today. We have a chair, dining room chair, strap, or towel. Great substitute for a strap. Although, who was I watching? It's great watching other people now do this. One of the benefits of this, someone was using a scarf as a strap. So a scarf is also really nice. I think that was Joanne's class. You may want to have a block. If you don't have a block, there are books, dictionary, thesaurus. That makes about this a little higher than a low, in between the low and the medium block. If you need it higher, today, the other day we had Grimm's Fairy Tales. This day, this is Edith's biology book from college. Still has her little, what do you call these things, honey?
Tabs.
These little tabs, so she knows what she was studying back then. So, now we have a nice high height. So, your choice. We may also have a bolster here, okay? If you don't have a bolster, of course, we have the blankets. Towels work for blankets. You can do towels for a bolster as well, or this is great, right off the chair. From your seat, from your couch, you can use those for bolsters as well. Edith loves pillows, so I think you can see the couches here. There are pillows everywhere. So take a couple pillows. That will make up for what we're doing today. This is going to make a fine bolster. So bolster a few pillows or from the couch. So if you don't have that, chair, strap substitute, block substitute, bolster substitute, go and get those now. You can get those. Yes, see, Mateo has the pillows from the couch. And we'll start off having a seat. Again, I have a higher lift than I usually have. It creates less struggle for me. And there's enough struggle going on, I don't need to make struggle more. So use a higher lift. And if sitting on the floor is still a little bit difficult for you, use a chair like we were doing. I was using a chair in those first online classes we did. Just go grab yourself a chair. It's totally fine. I'm going to take a moment here. Before making all your adjustments, check in with where you are now. What's the quality of your physical body? What's the quality of your mind? What's the quality of your breath? And take a moment to accept that that's where we are in this moment. It may be exactly what you want right now. It may not be. But we accept that this is the current moment experience. This is the here and now. And we need to begin to stop fighting the here and now, but allow ourselves to become one with the here and now. And when we're one with the here and now, we can begin to make very subtle changes, which will bring changes to the future. We don't resist what is, we accept what is right now, and we make changes that may benefit our future. And once we make the change, we seek to then experience the new here and now to see what changes were created. So moving into your body, balance evenly in the sits bones. What do you need to adjust to find that even balance? And it's not just the hips. You have to scan your body. The whole body gets involved in this. even the head. Lengthen from the inner thighs to the inner knees. And lengthen from the upper inner thighs back towards the abdomen. So the whole inner groin lengthening. Descend the flesh of the inner thighs. So the inner thighs, the flesh moves from the front of the leg towards the back of the leg. Right now, the front of the legs, it's slightly diagonal, but pointing outward. The back of the legs facing each other. The flesh moving down. And then maintaining that lengthening and that releasing, drawing from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. Compacting the hips in such a way that you don't lose the lengthening and the releasing of the inner groins. And compacting the hips evenly. So which hip is working harder? And can you adjust? And hopefully you are checking in with each of the individual actions, but if not now, we have 3 actions. Lengthen the inner groins, release the inner groins, the flesh of the inner thighs, and draw the outer knees to the outer hips. And then we do a check-in. There's a new here and now. You've solidified the base. How does this change the experience of the body, the experience of the mind, the experience of the breath? Now maintain that. Release the top of the buttocks towards the floor without gripping your inner thighs. The abdomen draws in slightly. Now, we've been talking for the past months, those who have been coming to the studio, about bringing these front bottom ribs towards the back body. So draw the front bottom ribs towards the back body. But what I haven't mentioned quite as much on the occasional class was taking the back bottom ribs forward. So the front bottom ribs move back. The back bottom ribs move forward and slightly up, which causes the torso to become wider because something needs to move. And perhaps a little taller as well. Maintain the front ribs back, the back ribs forward and up, and lengthen through the side ribs. Be sure as you do these adjustments that you don't lean forward or back, but shoulders over the hips. Allow the shoulders to drop, the elbows become heavy, and then keeping your elbows where they are, bring your palms together, thumbs at your chest. Using the thumbs against the flesh of your chest to move the flesh upward. Again, without pushing the front bottom ribs forward. Front bottom ribs back bottom ribs forward. When I say back bottom ribs forward, it means forward and up. Notice how those adjustments, those actions, affect the quality of the body, the experience of the body, the experience of the mind, the experience of the breath. Moving the shoulder bones away from the sides of your neck. Touching the palms evenly helps. If you're pushing one palm harder than the other, that action is harder in the shoulders. So touch the palms evenly. That allows the shoulder blades to spread, allows the shoulders to move away from the sides of your neck. Lift your ears up and away from your hips. Soften your facial features. Let your face become still. Eyes rest into your cheekbones, gazing at your heart. Again, observing the quality, the experience of your body. The quality, the experience of your mind. The quality, the experience of your breath. And maybe now you're just where you want to be. Maybe you are not. But can you allow yourself, without judgment, to experience the here and now in this moment? And let's chant the syllable Om 3 times together. Remember that even though we can't hear each other, because there's a delay, so if I unmute everybody, it gets a little chaotic. But we're all in this together. So even feel your vibration, and even though you're not next to another person, their Om is affecting the air that surrounds them, which is along the pathway connected through air and buildings and eventually getting to you. Allow yourself to experience your Om and experience the Oms of those who are practicing together right now. Exhaling completely, deep inhalation. Just checking in with this here and now. It's different than before the Oms. Lifting the sternum, lower your chin towards your heart. Release your hands onto your thighs with your palms up. With your eyes closed, raise your head. And gently let your eyelids open. All right, today we're going to start in child's pose, Adho Mukha Virasana. So I want you, some of you will need a lift for your head. So have a blanket or block nearby. So I want you to take your feet together, knees apart. Start sitting on your heels. Then you take your hands in front of you, and each step of the way, you push your sit bones back. So lengthen the arms forward, but push your sit bones back. Lengthen the arms forward, push your sit bones back. And if you can keep the back of your neck, really the sides of your neck too, nice and long, you can rest your forehead on the floor. But you don't want to just drop your head like this and find the floor, right? So if your head is just dropping to the floor, or the head doesn't quite reach the floor, then you take a blanket or a folded block or a book, right? Dictionary would be great for this. And you just rest your head there. Allow the weight of your head to be heavy. Allow the weight of your head to be heavy. Allow the weight of your sits bones to be heavy. Now press the balls of your first finger and thumb. We're going to do many of the actions that we do in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So press down through the ball of the first finger and thumb. The forearm actually rotates in. And at the same time, rotate the upper arms out. So can you find that place in the middle where those actions meet. And then find a lengthening from the tip of the first fingers. We're not doing Adho Mukha Svanasana yet. We're still in child's pose. We're just doing some of the actions we'll take into Adho Mukha Svanasana. So now lengthen from the tip of the first fingers all the way through the inner arms, armpits, through the side ribs, to the sit bones. Now, for many of us, when we do this, there's a tendency for the back bottom ribs just to fall into the body, really even underneath that area between the bottom ribs and the top of the buttocks just sinks down and the front ribs fall forward. So I'm going to take your front bottom ribs towards the back body and the back bottom ribs towards the front body, but also up. So the front bottom ribs back, the back bottom ribs in, and then up. Now we still also have to release the groin. So lengthen from the lower abdomen to the inner knee, from the inner knees to the lower abdomen. The flesh of the inner thighs moving from the front of the leg to the back of the leg. And drawn from the outer knees to the outer hips, compacting the hips together while maintaining the length and the releasing of the inner thighs. And now you have to check in. There's a new here and now. What's the experience in your body, your mind, your breath? And you do not need to force a big breath. Allow the breath to breathe you. You're creating the form for the breath. And come up onto your hands and knees. Take your shoulders above your wrists, knees slightly behind your hips. If you use, we're doing Adho Mukha Svanasana. If you use a chair or blocks, take them. Chairs right here. You can use blocks if you have them. Stairs work as well. Coffee table. Rotate the forearm in, press down through the balls of the first finger and thumbs. At the same time, rotate the upper arms out. And gravity is not in our way, still not in our way right now. So can you find that evenness, that place where those actions meet, where they stop fighting each other or one fully overtakes the other? Now push into the floor evenly on the two hands to lengthen through the inner arms. Now turn your toes under, straighten your legs. Okay, now we're dealing with gravity. So redo the arms, press through the ball of the first finger and thumb, rotate the upper arms out. Notice which hand has more weight on it and adjust. Can you even that out? Push into the hand, inhale as you lengthen the arms. Press the thighs back, not the knees, the thighs. And then inhale, on your exhalation, come into the pose. Press the thighs back, take your chest towards the thighs, take your sit bones towards the ceiling. Now take your heels a little high right now. Balance evenly on your hands. Press down through the ball of the first finger and thumb as you rotate the upper arms out and lengthen through the inner arms. Lengthen through your side ribs. Take your abdomen, roll it into your tailbone and press your thighs back. So you're really making the spine and the side ribs nice and long. Now keeping that, begin to extend the heels, not just down, but towards the wall behind you. They will go down. The more they go back, the more they go down. But keep the sit bones up as the heels go down. And now take a moment to observe this current experience of the body, the mind, and the breath. And look up, walk your feet forward. And just hold your elbows here, Uttanasana. If you have more flexibility, or if you have longer arms, you can take your fingertips on the floor, that's fine. Otherwise, hold your elbows. Now, we often start with the hips slightly back. So can you take the hips forward over the heels, but instead press the thighs back, not the knees, the thighs. Lengthen from the inner knees all the way deep into the body. Lengthen the inner groins, the flesh of the inner thighs moving back, outer knees to outer hips, compact the hips together. Keep the hips moving forward, the thighs moving back. Keep the hips moving up, sit bones up. And if your fingertips are on the floor, take those elbows out to the sides. That broadens the chest, also broadens the top of the back. If you're holding your elbows, then push your elbows into your hands. So your elbows move away from each other. Also, broadening across the top of the chest, broadening across the top of the back. Let the head go. Notice if you keep leaning your hips back and adjust. Hips forward, thighs back. Then back to downward facing dog. Hands on the floor. Walk your feet back. Take your heels high for a moment. Press down through the balls of the first finger and thumb. Rotate the upper arms out. Find that place where those actions meet in the middle. And then lengthen with the heels up, sit bones up, lengthen through the spine, through the side ribs, through the whole sides of the torso. Press the hips back. Take the abdomen, roll it into your tailbone, press the thighs back. Now maintain all that. Actually, well, let's add. So now add the front bottom ribs towards the back body, the back bottom ribs towards the front body and up. So notice those are opposite actions. When you take the front bottom ribs back, the back bottom ribs go back. When you take the back bottom ribs in, the front ribs go forward. So take the front bottom ribs back, the back bottom ribs forward, and then lengthen again. And now keep the thighs back as you take the heels down, back and down. And once you get there, then continue the lengthening, but continue also the front bottom ribs moving towards the back body, and the back bottom ribs moving towards the front body. And when they move towards the front body, they also move up towards the chest. In this case, I get that's down, so when I say up, it's meaning towards the chest. Noticing the quality of your body, your mind, the breath, as the breath breathes you. Let the head go. Now, as you walk your feet forward, walk the other foot first. So if you stepped your right foot first before, step your left foot first. And hold your elbows the opposite way. Or again, you can have fingertips on the floor. That's fine. So again, notice if it feels like your hips are slightly back. Take your hips forward over your heels. The heels will become light for a moment. And then keeping the hips over the heels, press the thighs back and press the center heel down. Lengthen through the inner groins, inner knees, deep up into the body. Notice which side of the body responds first. Can you include both sides? Flesh of the inner thighs moving back. Outer knees to outer hips. Compact those hips together while you maintain the lengthening, the releasing of the inner thighs. Hips forward, thighs back. Find the lengthening of the side ribs. And even here, without hardening the abdomen, the front ribs gently draw back. The back ribs draw forward and up. Let your head go. Elbows out to the side, or if you're holding your elbows, it's still elbows out to the side, but you push into your hands. Broaden across the front of the body, broaden across the back of the body. And then coming out, take your hands on your hips first, elbows up, torso now parallel to the floor. Then take your hands straight back, arms straight back, palms up, hands a little bit above your hips. Keep the thighs pressing back. All the work for the legs is the same. The legs haven't changed. So lengthen in the inner thighs, the flesh of the inner thighs moving back, outer knees to outer hips, compact hips together. That's maintained. Now push the arms back, Shalabhasana arms, extend the chest forward. Maintain everything as you inhale and come up into Tadasana. Feet hip distance apart. Feet underneath your hip sockets, not your outer hip bones, so not the wide one. Of course, if you need that for balance, that's certainly okay. But otherwise, let's do feet underneath the hip sockets today. And before adjusting, we'll do some of the arm and shoulder work. Before adjusting, can you check in with the current experience of the body, the mind, and the breath? Noticing which foot has more weight on it, which thigh is working, which one isn't, which hip is out, which shoulder is up and down. Don't change yet. And now, having observed and having accepted, this is where I am right now in this moment, we can begin to make adjustments to change the future. Balance evenly on the feet. Press the thigh bones back. Which one works first? Which one works harder? Lengthen from the inner knees all the way up through the lower abdomen. That will reflect right up into the torso. Take the flesh of the inner thighs back. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together. Now again, don't take the shoulders back. Shoulders above the hips. We tend to lean the shoulders back. I'll show you from the side, we tend to lean back and push the ribs forward. But I want you to keep the shoulders over the hips. Some of you will feel as if you're leaning forward. But I want the shoulders over the hips. Then the front ribs go back. That creates more room to lift the chest. And as the front ribs go back, the back ribs go forward and up. It's as if though, as the back ribs go forward and up, the back ribs are what's lifting the chest. But don't throw the front ribs out because that hardens the diaphragm, right? Samana vayu here. This needs to open. This needs to have a softness. Move the shoulders down, extend through the arms. Urdhva Hastasana, take your arms up to the sides first. Drop your shoulders down. Hold your arms up from your armpits. When you raised your arms, did you completely lose your legs? Get them back. Then from the armpits, rotate the arms up, not just from the shoulders, not just from the forearms, from the armpits. Move the shoulders down. Now my ribs went forward again, just because I turned my arms up. So I have to take the front bottom ribs back and then readjust the back bottom ribs in and up. Well, there, my shoulders just released. And then from your armpits, push up. The shoulders go down as the arms go up. Keep the ribs in. Front ribs back, back ribs forward. Can you push through the feet? Can you extend through the arms? My silence is an opportunity for you to observe your current experience. Svadhyaya, self-study. Turn your arms out to the sides. Come down as if you're pushing the air down to lift the chest. Right? Use those actions. Interlace your fingers together. Right first finger on top. Touch the thumbs together gently. Don't press them, gently. Turn your palms out. Push. Now, as soon as we do this, we tend to take the shoulders back and front ribs forward. Shoulders over the hips. Front ribs back, but back ribs forward and up. Now, push the webbing of the fingers together. Inhale, come up. Extend through the wrist, not just where the knuckles meet, but the wrists. Check your legs. Thighs back. Lengthen and release the groins. Outer knees to outer hips. Compact the hips. And then push through the feet. Push the feet into the floor as if the wrists are actually touching, the ceiling's lower or you're taller and you're touching the ceiling, and press into your imaginary ceiling with your wrists and press into the floor. Front ribs back, back ribs forward. Release your arms out to the sides, come down. Interlace your fingers together the opposite way. Touch your thumbs. Push the webbing together, palms out. Again, as soon as I do this, I've been doing this for 20 years now. I push my palms out, my shoulders go back, my thighs go forward, my ribs go forward. So I have to adjust here. I have to take my shoulders back over my hips. I have to keep the thighs pressing back. I have to take the front ribs back and the back ribs forward and up. And now I'm going to do my best to maintain that. So don't just adjust once you're up, but maintain all of this. As you inhale, take your arms up. Ribs in. Front and back ribs in towards the midline. Press the feet, press the wrists. Shoulders down. Don't tuck the chin. Now keeping your ribs back, keeping your shoulders over your hips, take your arms back, just the arms, to open up the armpits any amount. Hey, buddy. Yeah. Balanguliasana. And release the arms out to the sides. Push the air down to lift the chest. Check in with yourself. There's a new here and now. Right? We always say at the end of class, you know, check in with yourself. What's different? What's changed? But can you do it throughout the class? Now I'll open the shoulders up like we did the other day. So take your strap or your towel. That's fine. Do you want the strap or the towel, Mateo?
I love towel.
You want the towel? Okay, so hold the towel. Just like this, right? Okay. Remember, how far apart your hands are depends on the flexibility of your shoulders. So my hands are a little high now. I'm going to go down. So first, push the strap apart. I'm sorry, pull the strap apart. Right? So this is what I'm doing with the strap. If I go back, if you can see me a little better. There we go. Now, did you notice your ribs come forward? Take your front ribs back. The back ribs go forward, yes, but the front ribs go back and the back ribs in and up. Now push the arms up and pull the strap apart. And then we'll begin to lubricate the shoulders. So keep some of that length, and then the hands go behind you, and then up and over in front of you. Keep the arms straight. If you can't keep them straight, take them further apart. It's like this with lubricating the shoulders. That's it. Good. And then back forward. There you go. Don't forget to smile when you do it. No face grimacing. There's no face grimacing in yoga. And then one more time, coming up. And then take your arms back just to where it feels most open in the armpits. Now first, there go those ribs. So I have to take the ribs in, front ribs back. And then those back ribs in and up. Now the chest is nice and open. Now I can breathe. And then pull the strap apart as you open those armpits. And again, it's not important how close or far apart your hands are. And then one more time, take the hands down behind you, up, forward, overhead, and down. Put your strap or towel down. How'd that work out, Mateo?
When I do this, my hands come like that.
And then the towel goes over your face. All right, Urdhva Hastasana one more time. Arms out to the sides. Drop your shoulders. Hold your arms up from your armpits. It will be for many of you, quite different experience now. Rotate the arms up from the armpits. Shoulders down, arms up. And I'm really repeating this just so you can see if this is different. What do you feel that's different? Now front ribs back, back ribs in and up without leaning the shoulders back, shoulders above the hips. Push through the floor, extend through the arms.
What about this?
And then hands out to the side, exhale, come down.
What about my pillow?
What about your pillows?
I want.
You can use them. We're doing a different pose now too. So it's the second week of the month. So the second week of the month, normally in the Iyengar system, is 4 bends. But the world is totally upside down right now. So guess what? We're doing back bends. Because yes, there are norms and there are rules, but in the end, you get to make up your own rules, okay? You get to play with it and see what you need today. So today, I need back bends. You're here with me. So we all get back bends together. I'm going to start with a chair. So I have my chair. Go get your chair. You can put it on your mat or off your mat. It doesn't matter. I'm just putting it on. Normally it's off my mat, but I'm putting it here. One, it doesn't move as much if it's on the mat, but also it's closer to the center of the frame, right? You can use pillows. You can take your foot on the pillow instead of on the chair, okay? Virabhadrasana 1. Take your hands on your hips. What other one? What other one? What other pillow? No, what other pillow?
This one.
You can use, you want me to use this?
Do.
No, I don't need the pillow right now. Take your right foot up on the chair. Hop your left foot back. Have your left foot not heeled, not with the toes pointed out, but with the toes forward right now. And you can even take the heel up. I'm going to move back a little so you can see me through Mateo. Right? So the back foot is back. I'm not worried about the heel down. My front knee is over my ankle. My hips, though, I do want to be squared. It tends, I'm just going to show you the other side just for a second. This hip tends to go back, right? So I still have to take the back leg hip forward, right? That's it. There you go, Mateo. Hands on hips. So take this, the back leg hip has to come forward. Now, don't worry about the hip, the heel going down, although it may go down, but extend through the heel. And take the flesh of the front of the back thigh up into the chest. I know many of you have done this before. So what happens when we do that? The ribs puff forward. So I want you to take the front ribs back, and then the back ribs in and up. Now the legs are the same. Can you lengthen the inner thighs? Release the inner thighs from the front of the leg to the back of the leg, and draw the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips. And then again, the back thigh, take the flesh of the front of the back thigh right up into the chest. The thigh itself goes back. Extend through the back heel. Don't worry about it coming to the floor. Mine is not on the floor. I'm not even trying to get it to the floor. And then take your elbows back, front ribs back, back ribs in, lift the chest. And then extend your arms forward, arms up. Front ribs back, back ribs in. The back ribs are lifting the chest. Hands out to the side. Head forward, hands on hips. And straighten the front leg, feet together. Check in with yourself. Other side. So left leg on the chair, left foot on the chair, hop that right one back. Again, right now we're doing toes forward. The traditional pose, foot's turned out. We'll get there. But for now, we want the knee, bent leg, knee over the ankle. So in this case, the chair's higher, so the thigh's not parallel to the floor. That's okay. Take that, the back thigh turns in. So when I turn the back thigh in, the hip comes forward. So the hips are now square. Lengthen through that back heel, even though it's not touching the floor. Take the flesh of the front of the back thigh right up into your chest. Now the top of the buttock does go down. That helps. But lengthen the front of the back thigh right up into the chest. When you do that, those ribs tend to harden. Where the diaphragm hardens as the rib comes out. So the front bottom ribs move towards the back body. Back bottom ribs towards the front body and up. Now lengthen the groins. Release the groins. Outer knees to outer hips. Compact those hips. That lifts the torso. And then again, front ribs back ribs in and up. Maybe the head looks up for you. If not, it's fine if it looks forward. Arms forward and up. Take the flesh of the front of the back leg right up into your chest. Extend through the heel. Back ribs in and up, lifting the chest. What's your experience? Body, mind, breath. Turn your hands out to the side. Come down, take them on your hips. Torso back to neutral, head neutral. Straighten the front leg. Feet together. Tadasana. Check in. One more time. I'm not adding anything new. We're doing the same thing. Now that you know what we're doing, right? First time we do it, the body doesn't really know what we want. Knee above the ankle, right leg up, knee above the ankle. Turn the back thigh in. The back thigh presses back. Press through the back heel, even though it's not touching the floor, and take the flesh of the front of the back thigh right up into the chest. Now lengthen the groins, release the groins, outer knees to outer hips, compact the hips together. Keep that flesh of the front of the back leg moving right up into the chest. Now front ribs back, back ribs in and up, arms forward, arms up. Front ribs back, back ribs in. Standing leg, straight back leg, thigh going back, flesh of the front of the back thigh moving up. Hands out to the sides, hands on hips, torso headed to neutral, feet together. Some of you, if you really get those back ribs moving in and up, it affects the kidney band, your eyes. You may, if you notice the room, the colors being more vibrant, that's what's happening. The kidneys are being worked. Left leg up, right leg back. So the back leg, the thigh has to turn in, square those hips, right? The hips being squared in this version of the pose is doable. Press through the back heel as you take the flesh of the front of the back thigh right up into your chest. Really lift it. The thigh does move back, right? The psoas is deep in there. We need to open that. We need to open that. So lengthening there. Lengthening the inner groins. Releasing the inner groins, drawing the outer knees to outer hips, compact the hips together. Now front bottom ribs back. Back bottom ribs in and up. The back bend happens on its own when I do that. When I get the back leg working, the flesh of the front of the back thigh up. And when I get those ribs, front ribs back ribs in and up, the back bend's already there. Well, now I can take the arms forward and up, and yeah, I get a little bit more of a back bend, but it was already there in the first place by the other actions I was doing. Extend through the back heel, flesh of the front of the back thigh up. Lengthen, release the inner groins. Front ribs back ribs in and up. Extend through the arms. Release your arms out to the sides, hands on hips, torso head to neutral, and feet together. Tadasana. All right, you can put the chair to the side. We're going to set up for Ustrasana. So if you have a bolster, I'll move Mateo's pillows out of the way for now. If you have a bolster, you want your knees hip distance apart, and then you want your feet going straight back. So you don't want your feet coming apart like this, nor together. So the feet go straight, the shins, legs, feet go straight back like a railroad track. This one's actually a little out, so I have to double check, turn that in. And then you can take this bolster onto your calves. Don't have a bolster? I'll take Mateo's pillows back. This is going to work fine. Or one of the cushions from your couch, or a couple blankets will work. There are so many options. But here's the bolster version. Since I do have a bolster, I'll just use it. But again, any of those options will work. And for the first version, we're actually not going to use that. I could have had you wait. So first, you're just going to keep your hands on your hips, thumb at that top part of the buttocks, because the thumbs will help push the buttocks down. The knees and shins are at a right angle. So when we get into the pose, this is wrong. Don't take your thighs back. So keep the shin, the thigh bone perpendicular to the floor. Okay? So hands on hips. Take your elbows back. Push the shins down towards the floor. Push the shins down towards the floor. Now, when I do that, the top of my groins push out and begin to harden. So I'm going to turn the thighs in, lengthen from the inner knee to the lower abdomen, right? All stuff we've done. The flesh of the inner thighs moving back. and lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. So now I have the base. The shins pressing down, all that work we've done on the legs, continuing here. Now elbows back. You're gonna keep your hands on your hips, they're not moving yet. Tuck your chin to start. And then with the elbows back, push the shins, lengthen over the front of the body, the front of the knee, all the way over to the top of the chest. Keep the chin tucked for now. Now when I do this, for me, I puff these ribs out again. So what do I need to do? I bet you can guess. Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Well, now my chest just expanded. And take the back bottom ribs towards the front body and up towards the chest. You may have not seen that if you're not looking at the screen, but when I adjusted the ribs, I got so much more of the back bend. And then press into your shins. Inhale, come up, lift the chest to come up. And then have a seat on your lift. Here, the bolster does come in handy. But if you don't have it, sit on your calves. That's fine. Take a breath here. All right, come up one more time. Hands on your hips. If your lower back begins to ache, really press the thighs back. Take the tailbone forward, and you can use your hands here. Move that top of the flesh down. It's also going to help to do the lengthening, excuse me, that lengthening, releasing of the inner groins. That will help in the lower back as well. So push the shin bones down. Take the thighs back. Lengthen the inner groins, the flesh of the inner groins going back. The tailbone does move forward as the thighs go back. That helps secure the lower back. Top of the buttocks down, you have your thumbs there to help. Elbows back, keep the chin tucked. Also, you don't need to go back as far. If your lower back hurts, then stop. But front ribs back, back ribs in and up. Push the shins. Front ribs back ribs in and up. Push the shins. Front ribs back ribs in and up. Push the shins. Do it on your own. Find that lengthening over the front of the legs, over the front of the chest. Elbows back. Now, once you've gotten as much length as you can, if it's comfortable, let your head go. But the head goes all the way. If your head gets stuck in the middle, tuck your chin. Front ribs back, back ribs in. And then everyone, tuck your chin. Lead with your chest, then inhale up. And have a seat. So what I mean, you can look at the screen for a second. When you take the head back, the next time we're going to take our hands down, right? So I'll have you take the flesh of the buttocks down, really push it down, and then fingertips on your lift. If you don't have a bolster, I should have said this before, you just turn your toes under and reach for your heels. That's fine. But otherwise, I kind of like the lift because then I get to push my shins more. So you'll be here. If your head goes halfway, keep it tucked. If you have the opening, ribs in, back ribs also in, so the head can go back all the way, then that's fine. But don't pause in the middle, okay? So one more time. So either heels up, no bolster, or get that bolster or pillows, blankets, towels, books, anything ready. We'll start with hands on hips. Push your shin bones down. Outer knees to outer hips, compact the hips together. Lengthen through the inner groins, inner knee all the way up to the abdomen. Don't stop at the inner thigh. All the way up to the abdomen, the flesh of the inner thigh is moving back. Now elbows back, chin is tucked. Keep those legs really working, tailbone forward. Now take your hands behind your body on the top of the buttocks and move the flesh of your buttocks down as you arch the back, fingertips on your lift. Now pause for a moment here. Don't lose the actions, just pause here. Get the legs again, push the shins, lengthen and release the inner groins, outer knees to outer hips. Now rotate the upper arms out. That makes space for the side ribs. Take the front ribs back, take the back ribs in and up. That forced a back bend for me even more. I was already in a back bend, of course. And then keep going, keep extending. Front ribs back ribs in and up. Front ribs back ribs in and up. Press through the shins. And if it's comfortable, take your head back. Front ribs back, back ribs in and up. Push into the shins. Leave the head back if you can and come up just with the chest. The head falls into place at the end. Have a seat. The whole room is much clearer to me because I'm really getting the back ribs along with the kidneys moving in and up. To be clear, the first instinct is to throw that chest up, but you want to get those back ribs in, and that will help bring the shoulder blades in to open the chest, not just through these ribs forward. Now, those who have been practicing with me for a while know I normally do these in sets of 3. The first one is for the body, second one is for the mind, and the third one is for the soul or the spirit. But what I think we sometimes forget is that there's an additional soul spirit, and that's the collective. All of us together create a new entity, a new soul, a new spirit. So we're going to do one more Ustrasana here, and that is for the collective soul. This one we're doing together. We'll do the same version. If your knees have come apart from underneath your hips, take them back together. Knees underneath the hip sockets, not the hip bones. Hands on hips. Remember, this is for the collective spirit, the collective soul. Press your shins down. Immediately when you do that, the outer legs do grip. Compact the hips together. Release the inner legs. Lengthen from the inner knee to the abdomen, flesh to the inner thighs moving back. Tailbone in. As the flesh of the inner thighs move back, as the thighs themselves move back. The thigh bone moving back, not the thighs back in space, but the thigh bone moving back. Elbows back, tuck your chin. Now right here, my ribs go forward. So I take the front ribs back ribs in, hands to the top of the buttocks. Move the flesh down. Fingertips on your lift. Readjust everything. Shin bones, inner thighs, outer thighs, hip. Now the ribs, front ribs back ribs in and up. Rotate those upper arms out and continue. When you feel ready, let the head go back. Or keep it tucked. It's your body, not mine. Shins down, front ribs back ribs in and up. Keep the head back or tuck the chin if you need that to support your neck. Chest comes up, push into the shins, come up. Have a seat. Check in with yourself. Check in with your new here and now. The world is different now. Your world is different now than it was just a moment ago. All right. I want you to watch what we're doing. So I'll set it up first. You have your chair. I'm going to take the chair on the mat. You're going to have to play with the distance. I'm taking 2 blankets. They're folded this size. A little bit away from the chair, one on top of the other. You don't have blankets, use your towel. This will work fine with the bolster. Many people do it with the bolster. I just like the blankets better. You can use the couch cushion. You can use towels. You can use all of it. But keep watching. Because often I end up putting it too close. I'll show you what often happens. So if it happens to you, you know what's going on. I'm trying to get my shoulders on here, but I don't have enough room because I got to get my feet on the chair. There's no room here. So I have to take this further back. So my butt is going to be down here. I should really say buttocks, not butt. My buttocks is going to be down here. As I get my shoulders a little bit away from the edge of the blanket. So, give yourself an inch or 2 away from the edge of the blanket. Head is on the floor. Shoulders on the blanket. Now, if you can, you want to reach to hold the front legs of the chair. Now, as I do that, my head's up. My head may not reach the floor. My head actually is now. But this morning when I practiced it, my head didn't hit the floor. So I've loosened up a little bit. Yay. yoga. So heels are on the chair. I'm holding the front legs of the chair. And then take your feet on the chair, take your buttocks up. From here, you'll hear a lot of the similar instructions. You'll rotate your shoulders under, and then we'll work the groins, outer knees to outer hips, front ribs back, back ribs in. Okay? When you come down, you just take your buttocks down, and then you adjust so your head isn't thrown back. All right, so that's going to be the pose. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you watched all that. So get your setup. I have 2 blankets here, folded in half, right? So in a way, it'd be like for the flat blankets, okay? You can experiment. So get your setup. I have space in the middle for my buttocks. And then lie back. So my buttocks is on the floor between the chair and my blankets or my bolster or whatever I have for my shoulders. By the way, you can do this on the floor or just on a flat blanket, but it's nice with the blanket. All right, so shoulders, give yourself an inch or 2 away from the edge of the blanket. Hold the front legs of the chair if you can. If you have shorter arms or you just can't reach it, don't worry about it. Just extend your arms that way, okay? In a way, it just helps the chair not move. But if your chair's on the mat, then it won't move anyway. Now, take your feet on the chair. So first, just the heels. I can't get the soles of the feet on the chair until I lift my buttocks up. So the buttocks comes up. Feet now flat on the chair. I'm going to adjust them to find some comfort for me here. I'm holding the front legs of the chair. Roll your shoulders under. So, once you hear a few things, one is there's a tendency to fall to your outer foot or maybe your outer heel. Don't. So press through the center heel. If you have to go to the inner heel, but at least the center heel, pressing down. If you press the center heels down, that will grip the outer knee to outer hip, that outer quadricep muscle. Now turn the thighs in so the knees don't splay out. And take the flesh of the inner thighs down. There's the lengthening from the inner knee over to the lower abdomen. It reflects right over your chest. But that whole groin lengthening, the whole groin releasing, outer knees to outer hips, compact your hips together. Now keep the hips high. Press the heels down to keep the hips high. Press the outer shoulders down. Take the front ribs back into the body. Take the back ribs forward into the body and up towards your chest. When you take the back ribs in, do not take the front ribs forward. So front ribs back, back ribs in. And press the heels, press the outer shoulders. Now the arms, I'm adding. Lengthen from the inner armpit all the way through the inner arm, out through the inner hand. And then press down through the outer shoulders. So the inner arm is lengthening, press the outer shoulders down. When you go after the arms, some of you are going to lose the torso. Front ribs back, back ribs in and up. And for many of us, because the chair has a nice height, yes, you can do this on the floor, but this is Chatushpadasana. We do it on the floor often, sometimes on blocks, but on the chair, we can actually be here for a moment. Front ribs back, back ribs in. Hips up, tailbone in. Have you lost the inner groins? Lengthen the inner groins, release the inner groins. If you have to come out and come back in, come out and come back in. One more thing. As you take the front ribs back and the back ribs in and up, the chest moves towards your chin. I don't want you to confuse that with your chin moving towards your chest. Your chin does not move towards your chest. But your chest does move towards your chin, and your throat is ever so soft. Now, some of you are wondering if your speakers went out or the internet went out because I stopped talking. This is a time for svadhyaya, self-study. Can you be in this here and now, examining the body, the mind, and the breath? I know you're still here. Now coming out, don't give up the pose. Front ribs back ribs in. As you come down. Then when I come down, my head gets thrown back, so I'm going to adjust. Take my buttocks on the lift, and my head and shoulders on the floor. Rest your legs. Bend your legs into your chest, roll to the right. Come on. Take your lift away. Take your hands on the chair. Walk your feet back. Downward facing dog with the support of the chair. All the actions are the same. Thighs back, lengthen the leg, lengthen the inner groins, release the inner groins, outer knees to outer hips, compact the hips. Front ribs in, back ribs in and up. Of course, the arms from the beginning of the class, forearm in, upper arm out. Look up, walk your feet forward, Tadasana. And then we'll do downward facing dog one more time. You can repeat it on the chair, or I find it sometimes nice for those that did it on the floor before to compare how the world has changed. So if you did it on the floor before and you have energy, if not, do the chair. But otherwise, do one last downward facing dog on the floor. So press into the ball of the first finger thumb, rotate the upper arms out, find where they meet. Toes under, straighten the legs, press into the floor, thighs back, inhale. Exhale, come into your pose. So we won't stay that long, but heels up, forearms in, upper arms out, lengthen through the side ribs and spine, front ribs back ribs in and up. Press the thighs back, and then heels back. And just take a moment. Notice as you're here, doing the work, front ribs in, back ribs in and up. What's different? What's changed? How is this new here and now different? And then if your hands are on the chair, walk your feet forward into Tadasana. If you're on the floor, bend your legs, come into child's pose, arms forward, head rested. So if the head is on the floor, that's fine, but if it's a far journey to the floor, please take a lift under your head. Let your head be heavy. You can come in. And if you're on the floor, child's pose, take your hands underneath your shoulders, push to come up. And then everyone, take a blanket for your head and lie back. So for most, this flat blanket works best. Lay that back. For me, some of you know I have some neck issues, so I was folded in half. Not all, I shouldn't say always. Many days I fold it in half, but not always. I always check each day, it's a little different. Lie back. Have the blanket touching your shoulders so that your neck is supported. So lie back, scoop the flesh of your heels away from your hips. Start with your legs bent. We're just going to do a gentle twist before our Shavasana, arms out to the side. Bend your legs into your chest. Extend out through both arms. Both arms are involved in the pose. Now keep your thighs together. Squeeze your thighs together. On your exhalation, take your knees first a little bit to the right, not all the way. And then on your next exhalation, rotate your abdomen to the left, extend through your left fingertips. And then continue the knees coming down towards your elbow. But keep the abdomen and the chest turning to the left as those knees go to the right. And extending through those left fingertips as well. Head is neutral. Thighs together. Now push with your bottom leg. Inhale, come up. Take your feet to the floor. Square your hips and square your shoulders. Bend your legs into your chest. Extend through both your fingertips. Inhale. Exhale. Take your knees over a little bit towards the left. Inhale again. On your exhalation, turn your abdomen to the right as you take your knees to the left. Turn that abdomen and the chest to the right. Extend through both arms, especially the right one, but both. Abdomen, torso to the right, knees to the left. Head is neutral. Push with the bottom leg. Inhale, come up. Take your feet on the floor. Square your hips and square your shoulders. Bend your legs into your chest. Give yourself a little hug. Hold around your shins or behind your knees is fine too. Give yourself a little hug. Say something kind to yourself. Say something loving to yourself. Find something about yourself that you're grateful for. It's fine to offer gratitude towards outside things. Not only is it fine, it's important. We must. But sometimes we forget about ourselves. Can you find something about you? Who you are, what you've done, something about you that you can offer gratitude for. On your next exhalation, take your feet to the floor. Scoop the flesh of your buttocks towards your heels. Straighten your legs one at a time. You can take a bolster underneath or blankets or something underneath your knees. You can take your calves on the chair. That setup is fine as well. I'll show it for those that may not know. You just take your calves on the chair, and that's fine. Arms out to the side at 30-degree angles to your body so you have open armpits. Find a comfortable place here, or as comfortable as today can be for you. Comfortable is different on different days and for different people. Let go. Let go here. Can you allow yourself to be supported? There's a lot of chaos going on around us right now. And there's a part of us that wants to retake control because it feels very out of control. For now, can you give up control? Find a place of surrender to the Mother Earth below you, allowing the Mother Earth to take control. Peacefulness does not come from seeking to control the things around you. Peacefulness comes from acceptance. from surrendering. So can you take some moments here and now to find an acceptance for this moment as it is, to find a surrendering into your support, the Mother Earth below you, if you have any sense of control, just you, the Mother Earth, and your breath. You do not need to breathe. The breath will breathe you. Can you surrender to the breath as the breath breathes you? Shavasana. Take a soft, smooth, peaceful inhalation and a longer, smooth, peaceful exhalation.
Wiggle your toes, wiggle your nose. Bend your legs, place your feet on the floor, knees together, feet apart. Take your hands, place them onto your abdomen or onto your chest. Let the healing energy of your hands penetrate your body, pierce through your layers, and heal. Whatever it is you may need healing with today. When you feel ready, extend your right arm past your right ear, roll to the right side. Be on your right side for a moment. When you feel ready, place your left hand on the floor in front of your heart, turn your torso towards the floor first. Push to come up chest first, head last, come up to sitting. Cross your legs the opposite way you started class. Or sit however is comfortable as well. You can sit on your calves, heels, you can sit in the chair. Bring your palms together. Front ribs back, back ribs in and up. Shoulders moving away from your ears. Dry your eyes back and down, gently turn the corners of your lips up. Taking a moment to observe your practice. What's different? What's changed? And remember to take your yoga practice with you outside of this moment, into the rest of your day, into your evening, with kindness and with compassion. Kindness and compassion for others. Most importantly, kindness and compassion for yourself. Let's close our practice together by chanting one collective Om. Deep inhalation. Om. Gently let your eyes open. Big smile. Namaste. Bow to the divine within you. Yeah, come on in. All right, I'm going to unmute everybody.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
If you have questions, let me know.
I'm Mateo.
Bye, Mateo.
Hi, Mateo.
Everyone's saying hi to you.
Hi.
Bye.
Hi.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Everyone.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan.